Hi, I'm Carol Moore. Welcome to Vignette. It is December. Hard to believe that the year is flying by on us, and I have a very interesting guest tonight. I think you'll really enjoy her. Her name is Patrice Gildner. Gildner. There's a D and an N. Welcome to the show, Patrice.
Thank you.
What you do is very unusual, and I'm going to work up to it. First, I'm going to ask you where you're from.
I was originally from Ohio. I just moved out here about a year and a half ago.
Now in the mid-section of Ohio? That's a big state.
Kind of.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, I was outside of Columbus, which is the capital, and Ohio State University, Buckeyes.
How different is it from this sort of Midwestern state, on the edge of the Midwestern states, to Connecticut, where we're a little bit high-tech and faster?
You do talk a lot faster, that's for sure. But the people are just wonderful.
Good.
Both places. People are people, no matter where I go.
Yeah.
And I just find everyone lovely.
Good, good.
It reminds me of the old parable where someone goes to a person outside a city and said, what are they like? And he said, what'd you find at the other city? That they're wonderful. Same way here.
Yeah, yeah. You have to love people. People love people, then people are good. You know, if you're not social, and if you analyze and scrutinize every little thing, then you probably will be able to find things that aren't as good. But I'm a people person. I love people. All sizes, shapes, colors, whatever. That's the way it is. So you move from Ohio out here, and you're starting over again. You know, you've got your little practice happening, and you're trying to build up on it. What do you do?
I'm going to say I'm an intuitive.
Okay, what does that mean?
I can intuit information by following energy.
Okay.
And I also have the ability to hear channeled messages.
Can you develop that, or is that something you're born with?
I found out yesterday that you can do that. That someone mentioned that there's a school in London,
really,
England, that teaches this.
How can you teach something like that?
I don't know.
When did you first discover that you had this ability?
All over 20 years ago.
Okay.
I was doing something very mundane. You know, I was a mom, and I was washing windows,
yes,
trying to get a bunch of things done before my son got off the school bus, and I kept hearing the word Kutumi.
Kutumi?
Kutumi.
Whatever that meant.
And it was, you know, it's interesting that the fact that I heard it was not anything unusual to me.
Yeah.
It was the cadence was so obnoxious, like dripping water, that I finally said, okay, I'm stopping. Yeah. And I called a friend who is a psychic, and I asked her what the word Kutumi meant.
Right.
And she said, it's a name.
Oh.
Someone associated with me, don't worry about it. Well, okay. It stopped, so that was it.
Yeah.
And it was sometime later that I began actual channeling.
So when you channel, what does that mean? What happens?
What I do is make myself centered, calm.
That's like breathing and focusing on your breath and eliminating all the clutter.
Kind of like that meditative state, that space that you create when you're meditating. And I say some prayers for protection, and I make this, white light around me.
Now, why would you say prayers for protection?
Because I want to be sure the one I'm calling is the one that's coming.
Okay, and not, for people who don't understand, if you're dealing with things on the other side of the veil, there's a lot of things over there.
Yes, it's like picking up a phone.
Okay.
You want to be sure you have the number right.
Okay.
Of the person you're calling for advice. You just don't want to dial any number and take anybody's advice.
Okay, that's a good way of putting it. So you do now I know if you put yourself in white light is a protective shield, kind of.
Right.
I know some people who visualize themselves in an egg of white light before they do anything.
I had a challenge with the egg
Okay.
picture because eggs are fragile.
Oh,
So the
and
white,
so
the white light I use is more like lightning. It's white and it's powerful.
Okay. Now, see,
And it's more of a
yeah.
sacred space, though.
Yeah,
It's a
okay.
sacred space.
I had a friend who was teaching me meditation, and sometimes we visualized ourselves being protected before we went into meditation. And so in my visualization, being an artist and who I am, I said, okay, it's like a shower head and all this white light is coming over me.
I love it.
But she said, Carol, peaceful white light. I said, well, that was great. I thought
Oh,
it was a good
yes.
image, isn't it?
I love it.
Okay, and it was all white light that was coming down on me.
I love that.
Sparkly white light.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now we're protected.
And then I get into a state of neutral receptivity because I want to be sure that I am hearing the words of the masters correctly and I'm not putting in my own thoughts.
So neutral. How do you get yourself in a neutral receptivity?
Yes.
Now, that's a big word. Okay, what does that mean? You're receptive to neutral energy? No?
In other words, this is how I used to do it.
Okay.
When I was learning, I would take my personality self and say, over there.
Okay.
You go over there.
Okay, ego, everything is over there now.
Right.
And so that you're an empty vessel.
Right.
Okay.
And then as I practiced over the years, and I would also have my eyes closed.
Uh-huh.
He would say, open your eyes. Oh, that's for me. Open my eyes. And then he would say my name or something so that I can be fully cognizant and not trying to keep my personality self away.
Okay.
But I had to really develop a neutrality of what they're going to say.
So when you say what they're going to say, you hear voices.
Yes.
Okay. Now.
I don't go into a trance.
Okay.
I don't, it's my voice. I listen and I
So
speak.
you hear something and then you repeat what you hear.
Yes.
That's interesting. And you have no idea what they're going to say.
None.
None. And this for lack of a better word, person is a male. A female? What is
Male.
it? A male, okay. And this what is his name? Katona?
Katumi.
Katumi, okay. Has been walking beside you for how long?
I don't know. I don't know. I was talking with my cousin, and she said, we used to talk to someone, and we would also talk to nature spirits. And then one day, she remembers I told her that I was told we had to go someplace different where people wouldn't hear us talking. And we went over
that maybe
and saw
you
an
had a mental
angel.
problem. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so she said she remembers me being very aware of someone guiding me throughout my life. So I don't know if it was Katumi the whole time.
That's very interesting. I've read, I can't think of her name right now, but she was very, very well known, and she was an intuitive, and she would go into a trance, and then they would record what she had to say. And isn't that what Edgar Cayce did?
Yes.
He went into a trance.
I was taught that no matter how good or well-intentioned, that connecting of the energies and then separation and connecting and separating can sort of fray the edges.
Oh, okay, okay. So
And
by
cause
not being in a
problems.
trance, it's better. Yeah.
Physically.
Oh, yeah, that would be terrible.
And I guess Edgar Cayce had health challenges.
Yes, he did. I've read about him at some point. He was a big man too, I think. Tall man.
I didn't meet him.
I just read about it. Just read about it. When somebody comes to you and you do an intuitive reading or channeling, then you sit with a person, and then you go into a meditative kind of a state and neutralize yourself for whatever you do, then do they come immediately?
I call, yes.
And he says, "Hi, Patrice, how you doing?" No?
Not quite.
Not quite like that.
Because he's speaking to you or whoever it is.
Through you.
Yes.
What kind of a reading have you done that you really know that you help somebody a lot? The feedback that you get.
I have had so many experiences. I wouldn't be out here doing this, especially, if it weren't for that. And the call of people need the guidance now. People need help. The energies on the earth are so much more intense, and people are having their experiences come up that they may have been trying to repress for so many years. And they're coming up. They don't have the energy to repress them any longer. And some people are having a greater awareness in their abilities. Let's say for an empath, their empathic abilities are increasing, and they don't know what to do about that. They don't even know what it is. They just know all of a sudden they're feeling an emotion, and so their mind has to make up a story to fit the emotion, and they don't know that they're picking it up from somebody else.
Well, that's could be a little bit intimidating if you think that you're an open book and you can absorb all this stuff from other people, and then, so how do you protect yourself? By meditation and white light, but how does the average person do that?
There are meditation, white light, all those things are really good. I'm also developing a workshop for empaths, and it's it just helps you. The first step is to know yourself. The first step in everything.
Oh, sure.
Know yourself. And it's frustrating for somebody who wants to get going, but you have to know yourself first before you can help anybody, before you can really understand what is yours and what's someone else.
Oh, so you have to be able to determine. If somebody wanted to be a channeler and went to your workshop, how long would it take them before they felt comfortable about doing?
Oh, I don't teach channeling.
Okay. You teach what?
I'm doing a workshop on empathy.
Okay.
For someone who is developing empathic abilities, whether they have known it.
Yeah, so explain that a little bit further.
That's when you pick up feelings. I'm sure you've seen this, where you've walked into a room and you know that there's been something going on. It's charged. Yes.
You walk in a room right after somebody's had an argument, and it's like, oh my gosh, get me out of here. It's not nice. Not nice.
The saying you could cut the air with a knife.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. So if somebody was interested in this, how could they get in touch with you?
The best way to do that is to go to my website,
which is
www.readingsbypatrice.com.
Okay, that's good. And you have a telephone number also? As we're talking about this, it's flashed on the air, you know.
No, I don't know. That's good.
Yes.
It's 860-413-3199.
Okay. This is very interesting. Like I explained to you before the show, I don't do a whole lot of metaphysical type things, but I have had a few this year, kind of this fall, which is really fun because I have dabbled in some of this in my own way, and I pulled away really hard and strong several years ago and decided not to go any further with it because there were too many wannabes out there. People who jumped in and started, they were healers, they were this, they were that, and it was like, whoa, how do you separate the real ones from the wannabes? And when you talk about having somebody guide you as a very little girl, this is something that's been with you forever, and you have started to at some point develop it further and explore it.
Yes.
And find out why this is.
It was always a joke in my family that English was not my first language. We didn't know what it was, but it was not English. And it turns out it's energy. I perceive everything in that energetic field, which is why I did very, very well in the sciences.
Oh, sure.
Because it's all following that energy.
Yeah, yeah. And I would never have thought that. Are you mathematical also?
The addition and multiplication, subtraction, and all that, I can do it. I'm kind of slow. It's the theoretical mathematics that I would take in college to raise my IQ.
Oh.
Just for fun.
Oh my goodness. Oh, that's far-fetched for me. But you could be also, with that kind of a background, you could be an astrologer because you'd be able to understand the charts. It's not my thing. No.
So my mind is like Teflon when it comes to that. And there are some remarkable
yes, there
people
are.
who do that.
Yeah, yeah.
But when you were talking about wannabes, I wanted to interject something here. It doesn't make any difference if someone is certified, let's say, because this person is being known as being certified because they went to this school in London.
Right.
It depends on what the message is.
And whether it's you're doing it with a pure intention or not.
Yes, and sometimes people with pure intention might not get it right because they may have, I spent years with my own personal growth work.
Yeah.
And, they may be interjecting a lot of their stuff in there. And you just really have to look at what the message is.
Okay.
Your own common sense and how it feels to you.
So you said this earlier before the show, it's the message, not the messenger.
Right.
Which is so important. Because I really pulled back because I was a little bit overwhelmed by the number of people who thought that this was just a wonderful way to go and how important am I and stuff like that. And it just really...
It's a responsibility.
Oh my God, yes, because what you do and what you say through the words that come to you can affect somebody tremendously.
Which is let's go back and answer the question you originally asked.
Yeah.
So one of the first people I channeled for when I got to Connecticut, and usually I channel over the phone, and the landline goes through my computer, and I record both sides and send it.
Yeah.
I never met the woman. I didn't even know how she got my name. And Kutumi started talking to her about regrets.
Oh my.
And from the other side of the phone, I wasn't hearing things like, oh, yes, I know, or anything that would help me.
She was...
So I just went on, and I kept repeating what I was hearing.
Yeah.
And afterwards, she started asking me questions. And I said I was completely cognizant, but I have no idea what he was talking about.
Oh, okay. So you are just a messenger.
She told me her situation, and that every night she would go to bed saying how horrible a person she was.
Oh,
and
awful.
Every morning she would get up and say the same thing to herself. And she said, now I understand. It's too bad it's been 40-some years, but now she has the rest of her life and she can let that go.
Of course. When you give yourself a message like that, that's what you follow all day long. If you wake up in the morning and you say, oh my God, the possibilities of today, the sun is shining, it's what wonderful things can happen today. You start that way with an open mind to the wonders.
Right.
Rather than saying, oh, I'm a bad person, I did this 40 years ago and nobody will ever love me because of it. Well, we all make mistakes.
So you will find that a good, stable part of their message is we're spiritual beings living in a human body, this human experience, and that the expression of the divine, of the spirit, through the physical is unconditional love, compassion, and joyfulness.
Oh, that's good.
And anything else is a misunderstanding through the physical.
Right. I was listening to a CD of Deepak Chopra, and that's one of the things that he said today. That it was while I was in the car driving. I do that, and he said we are not human beings having spiritual experiences. We are spiritual beings having human experiences.
Right.
And I thought, gee, that's wonderful. That says it all right there. And by being a spiritual being, we're all the same. We're all a family, everybody. It's the human experiences that separate us and divide us. The choices that we make with our humanness, not our spiritualness.
That's right. And there's that part that you are an individualized soul, and yet you are all one. So they don't seem to go together, but they really are beautifully interwoven.
Yeah. Right.
If you
right.
consider a thread in a tapestry.
Alone, it stands alone and it's okay, but collectively with everybody else, it's magnificent.
Yes.
Ah, cool. So you're living in Connecticut now, and you want you'd like to have people call you up and find out what's going on with them, huh? You do readings over the phone.
Yes, I do. It's very convenient, especially
Yeah.
in the wintertime.
Sure.
But
sure.
I also do group sessions. And the way a session goes is to me, and sometimes someone else might come through. We'll talk first and maybe ask some questions, you know, if it's resonating, or do you see how this plays out in your life?
Yeah.
And then afterwards, he'll open it up to other questions that you may have. And sometimes people say, after that, my question seems so trivial.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
he explains that it reflects a higher truth. And so I did a program at Unicorn Meadow Farms on Tuesday, and one of the feedback was, you know, he answered questions I didn't know I had, but when he said them, everything just kind of fell into
It was the aha
place.
moment. Yeah, yeah. That's very good, because you did a phone reading for me, and my life has been crazy busy. I've had a studio sale and show and Thanksgiving and company on both sides, and I haven't listened to it again, which I want to sit down and have the time with a cup of tea to sit and really, really listen to it again. It was amazing.
I hope you do. I have had people say, oh, it just seemed kind of vanilla, or you know, it just wasn't my thing.
Until they re-listen.
Until they listen again.
And that's what but I want to do it, I want to put it on a CD and take it into my sacred space and listen to it with a little incense burning.
So many people think it's going to be like an astrology reading, and so what's going to happen this year, and what should I look out for,
and how's my love life, and
and predictive, and that's immaterial, because that's all a reflection of your inner landscape, and so he's concerned about that inner landscape.
Okay.
And when that is clear, and you are expressing clearly the spirit through the physical, the rest takes care of itself.
Yeah. I thought it was quite amazing that during the reading he picked up on the fact that I went off by myself a lot as a child. In a family of 11, I would veer off in my own direction, and that I was lonely. And I was lonely as a child, because I was seeing things in a way that was different from the chaotic stuff that was going on with the
the pack.
That fed off each other and played off each other, and were very quick-witted, and I wasn't. So I was an observer rather than a participant in a lot of it. And it was very interesting for me to have the reading tell me all the stuff that I knew happened that I don't talk a whole lot about. Because I wasn't lonely. There was a part of me that was looking for something else.
And it affected your life.
Definitely.
How you view things in your life.
Yeah, definitely, and in a very positive way, I think, because my family will tell you I'm different. You know, I'm the same, but I'm different.
Yes.
And the sameness is the brother-sister relationship that I have with all of them. There's a part of me that's, you know, but there's then a part of probably all of us in the family that they have a special little part that is different from everybody else's.
Well, so many people have had the experience of feeling as an outsider or not quite fitting in. I mean, it's so common.
Well, it's part of growing up too, I think, isn't it?
For me, it definitely was.
For me. I don't know if everybody else is the same way, but that was part of me.
But it seems to be a theme.
Yeah.
And one of the things that Kutumi has told people is, like, Earth is on the outside arm of the galaxy and it's far away. And it has a unique perspective on the galaxy and beyond, because it's out here looking in. Now, if you were in the middle of all those stars in the center part, you would just see the light and not even know that there's something beyond.
Oh, and we get to see the dark with the light. We only have a couple minutes for the first half of the show, Patrice, so let's give your web page again.
www.readings, ReadingS, by Patrice.
And your phone number.
860-413-3199.
Okay. We got into just a little bit of the background. I would like to talk a little bit more, and then maybe if you could call in your wonderful spirit guide. What do you call him?
Kutumi.
Yeah, but I mean, what name would you call him if you didn't call him his name? What would he be?
Master?
A master. Okay. All right. If you could call in your master, we may have a little bit of a pause while you get yourself settled, right?
Right.
Okay. And I can make faces or something. We're going to take a break now. We'll be back with the second half of the show, and maybe some pretty exciting things are going to happen. Stay tuned. We'll be here.